Workforce TNA Enterprise is a comprehensive employee timesheet to payroll application. It excels at exception reporting, timesheet approvals, accurate shift calculations, and seamless payroll system integration. The Enterprise version allows for employee self-service via the My Workforce TNA app. It also offers payroll integration via file export to over 70 providers, or two-way API integration with 8 providers through the included PaySync API connector app. This robust software empowers employees with self-service capabilities through intuitive iPhone and Android apps. Employers can customize access, allowing employees to clock in or out on their mobile, view and approve timesheets, request leave, check leave balances, access company resources, and view scheduled shifts. For precise time and location tracking, Workforce TNA offers a range of time clock hardware that can be installed at any office, warehouse or facility. These fingerprint, RFID card or facial recognition scanners transmit the clocking attendance data live to the system. As a multi-user application, Workforce TNA allows customised access permissions for team leaders and roles, controlling the appropriate left menu access and the linked employees that are visible. Upon login, the dashboard provides supervisors with the live status of their team, who's in, out, on leave or expected, as well as how they clocked in. Shift exceptions are highlighted below. Issues can be easily and quickly resolved by clicking directly through to the employee's timesheet. Further down on the dashboard, pending leave requests, which employees have made via their My Workforce TNA app, are displayed. The supervisor can click on the link to view the request and any supporting documentation. Here, there is an option to show leave balances synced from the payroll system. Back on the dashboard view, upcoming birthdays and work anniversary reminders, or other items that can affect an employee's pay, can be configured to appear at the bottom. From the Employee button on the left side menu, a supervisor can access all the employees in the system that they are responsible for, from a single employee to 2,000 or more. By clicking on one of those employees, then clicking along the tabs across the top, the supervisor can access a predefined set of that employee's personal information, which can be optionally synced to payroll via a two-way integration. The comprehensive employee profile stores contact details and payroll information that can affect time and attendance. On the Clocking tab, the allowed clocking methods can be controlled, as well as the employee's self-service access level on the My Workforce TNA app. The T&A tab provides settings for time and attendance, such as the default schedules of work, allowable work locations, the default cost centres, pay periods and other customised metrics. The Pay Codes tab allows the base pay and various pay code rates to be set. The Leave tab documents leave accruals and leave balances, which are optionally synced to the leave management system. The last tab is a Custom Data tab, where document files or items that require expiry date checking can be uploaded. The data from the employee's profile can be reported on manually or on a set schedule. Back on the left main menu, 2 timesheet view modes cater to different needs. The Daily Timesheet view aids in managing large teams or long pay periods, where it may be preferable to review and approve time entries daily. There is also a bulk editing capability to manage leave, shift changes and missed times. The alternative Pay Period Timesheets view brings up the full timesheet for a specific employee and pay period to review, approve or amend as required. In a perfect scenario, if an employee clocks on and off within the normal parameters for every shift, there's nothing to do on a timesheet except to approve it. Let's have a look at Bob's full timesheet. In this example, some exceptions have been triggered here in red. These are predetermined and controlled via the shift setup. Exception handling on Workforce TNA Enterprise is intuitive. Bob signed in on Thursday, but didn't sign off. Once his actual sign-off time is verified with him, the supervisor clicks on the plus button, enters the time that Bob completed his shift, and can write a comment explaining the manual entry. Where there is a pair of start and finish shift times, Workforce TNA Enterprise will automatically calculate any breaks or penalty rates and nominate the pay codes that apply to that shift. On Friday, Bob clocked onto his shift as usual, but clocked off halfway through it. The system will highlight this in red as an exception that needs to be rectified. Bob's supervisor knows that Bob went home unwell, so to finalise that day's timesheet, the supervisor clicks on the plus button and assigns the missing hours as sick leave. Workforce TNA can be integrated into the payroll system. With that configured, and if the supervisor's access permissions allows it, Bob's balance of sick leave appears here, ready to be balanced. If there is a leave certificate, the file can be uploaded here. Alternatively, Bob can request the sick leave and upload his sick leave certificate via the self-serve section of his My Workforce TNA app, which will sync to his timesheet. Workforce TNA will automatically calculate the balance of leave hours based on the hours that Bob was present for his shift, the expected hours for the full shift, the standard leave hours, and then apply the relevant pay code. Overtime is easily reviewed and authorised with Workforce TNA Enterprise. On Monday, Bob completed a normal 7.6-hour shift, but his clocking times were 5 minutes before his shift started and 15 minutes after his shift finished. Workforce TNA provides control to correctly pay for valid and authorised shifts versus presence in a building, where clocking has occurred too early or late. Bob's typical shift hours have been customised to suit the exact requirements of his company's time policy, so only his typical hours will be paid on this occasion. Workforce TNA can be configured for minute-to-minute overtime calculations or require additional parameters to be met before overtime is automatically added to a shift. On Tuesday, Bob worked overtime. The clock-out time was logged as 7:30 p.m. and penalty rates have been automatically calculated, which show as an exception in red. However, Bob was only authorised to work overtime until 7 p.m, and he wasn't working for the last 30 minutes that he was on site. In this case, the supervisor would edit the entry to authorise the time and a half rate, then correct the overtime hours and add an explanation. Now that day's timesheet is approved. The supervisor wouldn't change the 7:30 clock-off time, as that is when Bob left the site. For incident reporting, Bob's total presence on site is captured. On Wednesday, Bob hasn't clocked on or off because he took leave. His supervisor would add that leave manually here, if Bob hadn't requested it already through his My Workforce TNA app. With all the exceptions for the week amended, the supervisor clicks the Approved button and the timesheet is signed off and is ready to pay. The dollar values calculated on the timesheet are shown here for demonstration purposes. Access permissions to view these values can be controlled to specific managers, as well as payroll and finance logins. That completes the example of a supervisor, or in some cases, the payroll officer reviewing and approving timesheets. Now let's see the actions for a payroll officer if supervisors or team leaders are responsible for approving the timesheets. For payday, the first step for the payroll officer is to confirm that the team leaders have approved all the timesheets by running the timesheet approval report. This report can be automated to be scheduled and emailed out. This report lists all employees and the status of their timesheets. The example indicates that the data can't be exported to payroll as yet because many timesheets are not approved and those supervisors need to be followed up. Once all timesheets are approved, a timesheet or payroll report can be quickly generated to review the total hours that are flowing out to payroll. Here's Bob's timesheet again, showing his total of 41 hours for the period, which is further broken down by pay code. To export to payroll, head to the Payroll section, where the default export type will be configured in the system settings to one of over 70 providers. The PaySync application is an Aussie timesheets app, which connects our time and attendance systems to payroll systems, HR and ERP systems, with all data seamlessly in sync. The filtering drop-down options here allows the segregating of cost centres, employees, contractors or labour hires for separate processing or reporting as required. For example, contractor timesheets may be entered to Workforce TNA for the purpose of their reporting time and attendance for OH&S or for validating against invoices they submit. Workforce TNA Enterprise seamlessly handles employees across multiple locations and pay periods, and can even export to multiple payroll packages if needed. See how scheduling, resource allocation, communication modules and cost centre job tracking affect timesheet to payroll calculations in Aussie Timesheets other product videos. Workforce TNA Enterprise is a comprehensive time and attendance application that provides live time tracking, accurate pay calculations, seamless payroll integration and a self-service employee app. Don't let timesheet headaches and payroll errors hold your business back any longer. Contact your representative today to discuss the next steps in deploying Workforce TNA Enterprise for your business.